Nail or beauty school was just the beginning, right? What on earth do you do now? Welcome to the Salon Success Podcast with Monaco Nail Academy. Our topics stretch beyond nails and into all things salon related, business, marketing, and social media, and at the very least hits you with real, honest stories about our experiences. This isn't school, this is real life, real business, and really freaking hard work. Before we get started wherever you are, thumbs up, tag a friend in the comments, or hit that share button and support small business. Hey guys, Penny here from Monaco Nail Academy, and today I'm joined by Mel.
Hi.
We've got Mikal here.
Hello.
And Alicia's joining us today.
Hi.
And we are going to be talking about marketing a specific service in your salon instead of the salon as a whole. So just a new take on a potential option for a way that you might choose to market your salon in a niche way.
Just a reminder, before we get started, to use my code MICHAL, MICHAL, to get 10% off all courses. I get a kickback from these enrollments, and they're how we support the production of the podcast.
I also have a code and you can use mine. It's just Mel.
Alicia, do you have one?
I do. The code is Alicia, ALISHA, and you can use that.
So before we get stuck into the new topic, let's revisit last week's episode. Mel hit us up. What were we talking about last week?
Last week we had Brittany on and we were doing some 2-on-1 coaching with Brittany, getting her started and just chatting about where she's at in her journey and helping her along.
Yeah, I think that will be a really interesting one to follow up, actually, because I think, like Brittany admitted herself, like there's a lot of, I don't know, fear is too strong of a word probably, but like a lot of roadblocks where Brittany just needs to sort of trust herself, and that's the journey she's on at the moment. So like working with her as she does that is going to be so fun and interesting.
Yeah, for sure. I think like hurdles, like just those self hurdles, she's putting a bit of doubt in the way when she shouldn't, she can do it.
Yeah, which we've all done. Like if we're scared of something, we're like, oh, it's the classic thing we've talked about before of like, oh, I can't take clients, I haven't named my salon yet. Or I can't take clients, I haven't finished the entire how to set your prices module perfectly yet.
Yeah. We're very good at finding something, aren't we? Like, oh, I can't go to the gym today because I don't have any socks or whatever.
I can tell you I can't go to the gym today because I don't want to.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so from Brittany's coaching, moving into some broader coaching that should help everybody, let's chat about the idea of some very specific niche marketing. So this was sort of just, I don't know, an idea that I had the other week, I guess, where we always talk about niching down in terms of our avatars. Like, actually, I think it probably came from a conversation with Mikal and Hannah in our content chat. But like, we talk about niching down our avatars, meaning our ideal clients, and taking our content and targeting it specifically to an ideal client, and then not spreading ourselves too thin by trying to be everything to everyone and stuff like that. And then I was like, wait, why don't we apply that to our salons? So before I get more into, I guess, what I mean by that, like, Mikal, you've been on before, but do you want to give us a quick rundown of your current salon status? Like, where you're at, what you're working on for people that aren't diehards and have listened to the last couple of episodes.
I haven't been on before.
Haven't you?
No, it's my first time.
What the heck?
People will know you from the socials though.
Yeah, maybe that's why I think you've been on before, because we work so closely with like Facebook stories, Instagram stories.
So I would have thought you'd been on because I've been following everything on Facebook.
Wow.
I swear you've been on like 3 times.
Okay. So I have just changed my name slightly to Adorn Nail Boutique. I'm in Morrinsville. I have my own home-based salon. It's a spare room that I have recently finished renovating, and yeah, I also was working full time and now I am not. I just have a casual job at a vet clinic and I am doing nails full time.
And that's like, at the time that we're recording this, that's only what, like a month that you've been officially self-employed,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, since the 1st of August.
That's so fun. And so where the confusion is you might have seen Mikal on our social media, because we do have a few students that do weekly student diaries for our socials at the moment, and Mikal's part of that team. And then Alicia, you have a super fun story. What are you up to?
Right now, I've taken about 2 months off work to travel around New Zealand with my partner in a tiny little converted van. So, if you lose me, it's because I'm up on a mountain somewhere in the South Island.
And what was your salon situation before you took leave?
So I had been working part-time at a local nail salon and part-time as a tattoo artist at a local tattoo studio before making the move to a renovated home space. It's split down the middle. It's like one big room that's been split into a living space and a salon. The salon opens up onto the driveway, so it's kind of separate. And I have been working full-time out of there for probably the last year and a couple months, maybe.
And you were saying just before we started recording that you were like a high percentage regulars with some one-offs. Is that right?
Yes, correct.
So, and now you're traveling around, and when you get back, what's the goal? Is it just to get those regulars back or start from scratch, or what's the plan?
So I've had the reason for this holiday is I've had a bit of a rough run with my physical health. I've got a very low immune system. So the doctors recommended some time off. So officially online, I am just closed down. But I have had chats with regular clients of mine about doing a little bit of a rebrand and coming back slowly. So that would be reaching out to people one at a time or a couple people at a time, and then hopefully building up a regular client base only, fingers crossed, even if that starts out by being a couple of days a week and building up.
When you talk about doing a regular client base only, so as in you basically want your books closed, no randoms can book you online or anything like that, but you have regular clients who see you on a rotational schedule, right?
Yes.
What's the reasoning for that? Like, not in a judgy way, like literally just in a curiosity way.
So I very rarely get one-offs anyway, and majority of my clients are regulars. But I think more the idea for this is with the health side of things. So easing up, knowing exactly who's going to be where, and also just lowering the admin a little bit, not having to have a booking site and a website going and that sort of thing. But I mean, I have done well with being able to have an online booking system and take regulars. So I guess we'll see how it goes. And if it doesn't work out, I'll go back to doing things the way that I was.
Yeah.
But I think it's worth a try, and it's perfect that I am technically closed down right now, because when I come back, that'll just be how it is for a bit and we'll roll with it. I couldn't really just start doing that while I was working very easily. Suddenly be like, all right, no, I'm not taking anyone else. So I think it's a good way to do it and a good time to do it.
I will say, tangentially to the overall topic, but not so much now, and take this or completely leave it. I don't give a shit. But my previous experience with the same kind of thing, if I were in your position right now, I would open it up. Like, I would keep your website and I would keep your socials and stuff. Definitely find ways to manage it with less admin, because I'm all about the less admin and making things more efficient and stuff like that. For example, at the moment, because I'm not trying to grow my salon base, my captions are not in line with the caption kit that we have available on our website. I have about 15 captions that cover the aspects of my salon that I want covered, and they rotate. And so I do not currently use my social media to build relationships, tell a story, any of the stuff that I would recommend to someone growing a salon it's in maintenance mode. The photos are a combination of fresh ones and old goodies, and then the captions are on rotation. So that means that I can schedule a full week of social media, and that's 7 days of Facebook, Instagram, Facebook groups, and Instagram's stories and reels. I can schedule a whole week of that in about 20 to 30 minutes.
Yep.
So just that's one way. But the reason that I was saying I would leave it all up is because even if you have regulars and you're part-time and like all of the goals that you've just outlined, which I fully support, there is going to be someone who has a baby and their priorities change, or they move towns, or they buy a house and their budget changes, or like things like that. And back in the day, it was kind of a thing, like a cool thing to be like, my books are closed. And for some people it works great, but it was definitely a trend, or not a trend, but like a thing that was like desirable to be. You wanted to reach the point that your books were closed. So when I hit the point that I closed my books, I thought, great success, done it. Except that then I'd have like someone would go off to have a baby. Okay, cool. Well, now every third Thursday at 4 is empty, and no one's asking for it because my books are closed.
15 and you're not.
And even my regular clients would be like, so-and-so at work was admiring my nails and they were asking how much they were. And I was like, you can't go. And I was like, fuck, no, you can go. You absolutely can go. Or like someone's budget changed and now they want like 4 weekly instead of 3 weekly or stuff like that. What I would do if I were you, but me, because of course you do you, I'm not trying to tell you that this is the only option, but what I would do if I did it all over again is I would still have the website, I'd still have online booking, I would have low maintenance socials, and I'd just be fully booked. Like if you don't have you can, and I've said this before to other people, if you can be open for 2 hours a week, no one needs to know. Like I don't have set hours. I am generally, to be honest, at 7 a.m. Monday, I've got about 60 hours open. But I pick and choose, and if a day starts looking full, I close off the other part of the day, or I block off a bit where I want to do something. I'm not working 60 hours, but my current lifestyle means that I can have that open, and it leaves me to be really flexible. But I don't advertise opening hours because I don't want to be stuck to opening hours. So in the same regard, you can be open 2 hours a week and no one needs to know. But when they inquire, you say, I'm fully booked and I can add you to the wait list.
Yes, I think that's a really, really great point as well, because I think that's where I'm feeling stuck now, is it's Monday to Friday with these specific late nights and these specific times, and then the books are just open at all those times. But I think doing something like that is a really good idea, actually. I'm going to have to think of that.
Yeah. If there's a week where I'm motivated and I'm feeling good, I'll work as many hours as people will book. But also, if I'm like, if I have 60 hours open and then I'm like, well, I've got enough bookings, I know my bills are paid, actually, I'm going to take that day off. Because, I mean, for me, I live in a small town. The 60 hours are never going to fill up except for the summer holidays. And in the summer holidays, I'll curate my hours a bit more carefully. But yeah, if someone says like, oh, I didn't know you were open on the weekend, I'm like, well, me either. I don't have set hours. I'm open this weekend. We'll see what happens next weekend. Yeah. So I don't know, take it or leave it. But
no, I think that's great advice. I'm going to definitely take some of that on board.
Mikael, what do you think about that as a concept from your current salon status?
I've actually seen like quite a few nail techs around the place do that, like, oh, my books are closed kind of thing. And I've always looked at that and been like, oh, like they must like have heaps of clients. But yeah, it could be that you're just like limiting the number of clients that you want to see a week. And I guess like I always want to get to that point where I'm like, okay, I have the number of clients that I need, and then that's it. Like there wouldn't be a point to like keep trying to find new ones once you've got the number that you need. And I know like my husband, he wants to sit down with me and like work out how many clients do you need a week, and rather than have it at like max, have it as like the minimum that we need to get by.
Hey guys, Penny from the future here. Want to take your salon to the next level? Discover the Salon Success Accelerator. 8 weeks to unleashing your salon's full potential. Gain complete access to the Salon Success course, where you'll learn how to build a solid business plan, develop a powerful brand, set the right prices, and create effective marketing strategies. Plus, benefit from 30 hours of additional recorded content, weekly one-on-one coaching sessions, and our exclusive group chat for personalized support. Starting every first of the month, this accelerator program provides a structured path to achieving salon success. Join today and master your salon success at www.monaco.ac.nz/course/accelerator.
You hit the nail on the head there, Mikael, when you said what you need.
Yeah.
Like I always used to say, I'm full. Honestly, I would take about 2 clients a day, and that was it, because I didn't have time, and I didn't want to do 8 clients a day back to back. People would say to me, "Oh, Mel's so busy," and I'm like, "Yeah, so busy."
The reason that I've like stayed like, you know, working from home and doing nail tech stuff is so that I can have a more enjoyable lifestyle. So it's not about pushing for more all the time, but about finding that balance that you can like still be happy.
Exactly. Remember why you did it, and we talk about it all the time, but I did it pretty much for my kids. I wanted to be there for them more. So then why do I want to work 9 to 5 every day doing clients? It kind of defeats the purpose. I might as well just stay at a job. So yeah, you got to remember your why and adjust it to suit your goals and what you want.
Yeah.
And even us four, our goals are all very different and different priorities in life. And yeah.
And shameless plug, but Mikael, that conversation that your husband wants to have would go perfectly with our reverse engineering episode, which I can't remember what it was called, which means that I'm really bad at my job. But somewhere back there, I'll try and find it. And if I find it while one of you's chatting, and I'll plug it properly. But reverse engineering is one of my favorite things, and actually it's in my notes for today, but just a minimal version of it. The other thing though, before I go down that tangent, was while you were talking, I thought of another reason that like the whole concept that Alicia and I were just talking about is important, and not closing off and stuff like that. And you're talking about, you've seen people close off their books, you see that as success. The way I always saw it as success, that's something that you would want, is to like hit that target and be like, I don't need any more. The other reason that for everybody listening, and both of you guys, Alicia and Mikael, should keep the online booking open and all that kind of stuff and create demand, is because if you want to be able to hit your goals with the minimum number of people, if you have a wait list and you are so high in demand and no one can get a booking, and like you look like you used the phrasing before, Mikael, I think you were like, it looks like they're really successful, or I can't remember how you phrased it, but like that's what planted in my head. You see someone close off their books and you're like, whoa, they must be doing amazing. But then Mel's just pointed out that her fully booked would have been 2 people a day. Well, no matter what your hours are or how many clients you have, no one needs to know that. But if you are fully booked, you know what there is? Demand. And you know what you can do with demand? Put your fucking prices up. And you know what you can do when you put your prices up? Take less clients. So especially taking into account that I know, and I know that you're okay with me saying that you have plans to start a family in the nearish future, ideally, then you're going to be wanting to hit those goals with probably fewer and fewer clients, so that you can build a family, or even for anyone listening, build a life that you want, however that shapes up, even if it is being able to work and then travel in your van for 2 weeks a month or things like that. Like, you want to be able to balance being able to hit your goals but also stay healthy. Then the fewer clients you have to do, the easier it is to be flexible, but you can still hit your goals. And this isn't about like overcharging, because if you do a great job, and both of you were at NZ Nail Comps in different capacities and did incredibly well, so I know that you can do a fucking good manicure. If you're doing a great manicure, and if you are setting an expectation and meeting it, no one's going to complain. If you set an expectation that you look like a Pinterest person with like perfect photoshopped cuticles and all that AI nail art and all that crap, and then they turn up with a $250 bill and you send them out with like gel flooded in the cuticles and all different shapes on all 10 nails, you're not going to be able to get that price again. But if you set the expectation that you are just a bloody good manicurist and the price is $115, take it or leave it, someone is going to book at that price. And then as long as you meet their expectations, they're going to come back, or at the very least, they're going to keep you in mind for special occasions and tell people that you met their expectations. So becoming fully booked, but not closing your books, because if you close your books, there's no longer demand. No one wants you because you've told them you don't want them back. And I'll tell you, if someone tells me they don't want me, the first thing I'm doing is being like, okay, bye. So if you have that demand, you can put your prices up. And if you deserve those prices and meet expectations, I mean, you put your prices up by 10%, you can take 10% fewer clients and make the exact same amount of money.
Yep, that is such a good point as well. Because my prices before this holiday were what I thought to be reasonable, but also on the higher end. But then when you have clients telling you that you need to put your prices up, then you realize, oh, right, you know, I'm exceeding these expectations and I could push for a little bit more. Or, you know, find ways like, I mean, your One Up episode, which was a very long time ago, but that's a great episode of finding those little things that aren't a huge expense, but can also add to the experience that make those new prices feel like they're worth it too, in some ways.
One Ups, like you said, Alicia, there's such a good way, like when you get to a point where you figure out, yeah, like you said, either your clients are telling you you need to raise your prices, or you want to do it yourself. One-ups are a good way. I don't want to say justify, but yeah, it makes your clients feel like they're gaining something for the extra money they're paying, when really it's something small. You know, like, do you remember any one-ups that you've done, Alicia?
Definitely. I mean, this is very recent, so I didn't get a whole lot of feedback on it, but I went from instant coffee to a coffee machine, and the few clients that I had for the month before I left work were like, oh my gosh, this feels like such a luxury experience. Or I did add a deluxe service to the list, so using the Darty scrub and hot towels, and I got a great tip from, I think it was Becca, to mix the AU drench with a bit of water and use it as a hand mask.
Oh.
And so I kind of added that to the, like, as an add-on, add this to your service, and then when Mother's Day comes around, you know, bring your mum in, and this is a special kind of thing that you can add on. And I found a lot of people started doing that because it's the time of the month where they're treating themselves, right? It's their one bit of time of peace for a lot of people. So it's those little things that make a big difference.
Yeah, totally. And the whole point of one-ups is that they're not expensive. They don't take a lot of time. You know, like hot towels is such an easy way. And I used to just have an old crock pot.
Yeah, I've got a crock pot.
Oh my gosh, the clients used to lose their mind. And I think almost every one of them said, oh my gosh, no one else has ever done this. I've never had this before. And then they would see my crock pot and they would just laugh because it was so old. I think it was bananas, but they used to love it. And it's just about making their experience worth it, you know, for them in their eyes, right?
I swear a solid 50% of my clients still say, this is my favorite part, even every time I take the hot towel out, even though it's the shortest part of the appointment.
Yeah, they love it.
I mean, it can be things like I've had people, I used to use like those little bio cups when people wanted a glass of water, whereas now you use a cute cup and people go, oh, this is making me feel really, fancy. This is great. Just little things, but it's making sure you're consistent with those things as well, right? Which was also talked about in the episode. If you're going to make little fancy ice cubes, you're going to have those ice cubes every time.
Yeah.
So making sure that they're achievable little one-ups as well that you can keep on top of, so that you're providing that extra every single time.
For sure, because imagine if I said to Mikhail, like, oh my gosh, go see Alicia. She's got the best coffee, and you get a hot towel. And then Mikhail's like, mean, I'm going. And then she comes and gets an instant coffee and a plastic cup and no hot towel. Mikhail will be like, what the heck? You did me dirty. They'll be like, oh, well, I got all that. I don't know. You gotta keep it consistent for sure.
Yes, definitely.
Total side note, but I found the episode on reverse engineering Mikhail with the husband conversation. It's called Can You Plan to Make a Lot of Money and Actually Pull It Off?
I'll get him to listen to it.
It's so good. Honestly, I love reverse engineering, and I can use that as a segue to get us on topic, even though fucking love a tangent. And honestly, if I hadn't started the episode being like, this is what we're going to talk about, I'd just let us run because we love a tangent. But
I thought you were going to say we love to run. I was like, oh.
No, I am a lot of things, but a liar I am not. And that would definitely be lying. Okay, so talking about reverse engineering leads in to the idea that I wanted to talk about today, which is marketing a specific service as a SMART goal and then reverse engineering that service instead of marketing your salon as a whole. So I'll explain what I mean, because I haven't really seen some salons for sure do this accidentally, and probably someone out there does it on purpose, but so well that we don't know. But here's what I'm thinking, right? So say, for example, like people here always ask if I like doing nail art. And I'm like, no, literally when I was in the city, that was all I did. I specialized in nail art. And that was true. I would get people that booked and apologized for wanting a plain color because they thought I hated doing plain colors because all I promoted was nail art. So I'm sort of taking that idea and running with it. But here's what I'm thinking is like, okay, so for example, with Monaco, even though it's courses and not a salon, we'll promote beginner training, salon success, art training, the live summit events and stuff. But like that means that we're trying to cover a lot of bases. And although we have a very clear avatar, how much better would it be if actually for like a 12-month period, I zeroed in on just promoting salon success? And the same thing as those of you who listen regularly or who have done salon success, the spaghetti concept, if I threw all of my marketing at just salon success, we would make so much fucking money on salon success in that year, but then people by proxy would find us for all the other things that we offer, because they would be in the briefest possible way, but we've got a couple of episodes on this. The spaghetti concept is that if you target, you're always going to get the target plus people outside the target. And the reason it comes back to spaghetti is because we say if you stuck a drawing pin in the wall and throw a bowl of spaghetti at the drawing pin, you are going to get spaghetti on the drawing pin, but you're also going to get spaghetti all around the wall, all of the places near the drawing pin. And then we affectionately refer to the one speck of spaghetti sauce that ends up on the ceiling as a roof speck. And that is the random people that come out of nowhere. And you're like, how the fuck did you find me? But you gratefully take them anyway. So if we take the concept of the spaghetti concept, we're targeting our marketing, and normally we are targeting our marketing at an avatar, at a specific type of client. But what if, yes, we still have our avatar, we know exactly who we want to come into the salon, but what if we think about what that avatar specifically wants? What service do they want? And we spend a period of time, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, forever, and you just promote that one service and see what happens. I think this could be a very interesting concept, because also with the whole SMART goal thing, so SMART goals are, I'm sure a lot of people who are into podcasts and stuff are aware of SMART goals, but they're targeted, a way of having targeted goals where SMART is an acronym and the goals are specific. Yeah, this is a test. Specific, measurable, achievable.
Oh, I thought she was cheating. Do you guys know what SMART stands for?
What's the R?
Isn't it realistic?
I think it's realistic.
I think it's realistic.
What's the T?
Timely. So like a smart goal would be like specific would be gel manicures. Measurable, I want to do 10 a month. Achievable, yes, I am available for at least 10 a month. Or in Mikel's option of wanting to achieve her goals with the minimal amount of clients, maybe it's that she's available for 20 hours a month and she wants to achieve 10. That makes it achievable in that scenario. Realistic is what it is. Timely, I want to achieve that within 3 months. So I'm going to be doing 10 gel manicures a month within 3 months from today would be a SMART goal. And when you take that SMART goal, you can reverse engineer, which again, we have a whole episode on. But the base concept is that once you know exactly what you are promoting, you can go, okay, cool. Well, my goal is to hit $100,000 a year or $50,000 a year or $10,000 a year. Who cares? But with that $10,000 a year, if I'm doing X number of clients for $50 a client, I'm going to need this number of clients to achieve that goal. You're reverse engineering. So instead of saying, I just need some freaking clients, I'm going to advertise and get some clients, you're going, okay, but I want to make this much money a year. I'm going to need this many clients to do it. And part of reverse engineering, when we go deep into the intricacies of how it works, is first tracking how many people inquire versus then book so that you know a percentage. Because if you know that only 10% of all people that inquire actually then book in, then you know that if you need like a certain number of clients to achieve your goal, you're going to need 100 inquiries for every 10 clients that you actually want. And that means you push your marketing to get all those inquiries. I feel like I explained it in a really confusing way, but that's why we have a whole episode on it. I don't know, Mel, if you can elaborate and do a better job of explaining it than I just did.
I think it makes sense. Like, yeah, if we break it down, say you want to make $100, I mean, simple terms, say you want to make $100 a year and your service is $10, so then that tells you need 10 clients. And let's say you get 20 emails or inquiries on Facebook or messages or whatever, and out of those 20 people, one person converts and books. Yeah, then it tells you then how many like messages you need to get those people. And yeah, it all comes down to like, the whole comes back to like the cold, warm, hot audiences and how we convert them. And it's a whole like cycle, but this is a realistic way of seeing, okay, I know if I get 10 gel manicures every month, I'm going to reach this financial goal because it's right here in front of me that this is how it's going to work out. I mean, I get it. And I'm the most confused one usually on these podcasts.
But I do highly recommend the whole episode because we do break down exactly how to reverse engineer.
It makes so much sense to me because I just had to do reverse engineering on parasites and how many larval eggs I needed to be able to get like 10 million parasites. Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
It makes sense to my brain too. Me and Mikel were talking about it last night in the lesson.
Hey guys, Future Penny here again. Just a super quick interruption to let you know that if you head to monaco.ac.nz/subscribe, not only can you sign up to our weekly newsletter, but you'll also get a free video lesson from our course, The Art of Pigments. That's monaco.ac.nz/subscribe.
Is this, so when you say too, is this where the natural nail specialist course was kind of spawned?
Yeah.
Okay.
100%. Zeroing in on niche specialties instead of trying to be a jack of all trades.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really important as well. I mean, you're showcasing the benefits of this particular service and, you're sharing what people are getting when they're coming in for this particular service. And I think that's a great way to break down those goals as well. I think it makes perfect sense. And it's great to have a bit of a niche as well.
Yeah, like you were talking before we started recording about how you want to specialize in art, but also Russian manicures. But with your training that you did in Russian manicures, some parts, correct me if I'm wrong, because I know we just talked about it, but some parts of the training resonated well with you and other parts weren't your favorite or didn't sit well with the practices you want in your salon space. So you wanted to create a service that fit your preferences and I don't know, like, do you want to elaborate on that at all?
Yeah, totally. So, I mean, it's definitely a strange thing. I mean, going from my original training, you're taught to, never ever cut live tissue, and then going into this really invasive course, there were certain parts of it that were demonstrated very, very well, but as someone who's been taught completely differently, I think I'm stuck in my old ways, and that didn't sit too right with me as well. Mainly as well, when I did practice, my poor boyfriend actually got cut. And that was when I was like, maybe not. So I was, I'm very new to it, but there were certain things that I was going, okay, I'm not too keen on that. However, the rest of the training was very, very awesome. So I'm going to take those parts and I'm going to combine them with what I already do. And let's create a service that achieves the same look without being as invasive.
And so for anyone who's a newbie who doesn't know what a Russian manicure is, I'm sure that if you're in podcast land, you're also in YouTube and Reels land and have probably seen them. But a Russian manicure is just the term used to describe manicures that remove, it's intense cuticle work and removes a lot of the cuticle, but also eponychium tissue sometimes, and there's skin polishing, and it gives that very, very tidy look. But for those of you listening from overseas, because I know we do actually have quite a few US and other overseas listeners who aren't just Kiwis, we get quite a few comments from people that don't understand the lower level of cuticle work seen in our videos, and that is because Russian manicures are extremely new to the New Zealand market. Technically, for a lot of insurance policies and stuff, if you cut living tissue, by definition, that is minor surgery. And as a nail technician, you are not qualified to perform minor surgery. Therefore, all of your insurance is invalid. So for a long time, like for years, we've been doing Monaco for a very long time. And for that entire time, I have been being criticized on social media for not doing something that in the country I work in is practically illegal, like invalidates my insurance in its entirety because I am not licensed to do minor surgery and it is classed as minor surgery. Now, the practice is becoming more and more common. There are, insurance policies evolve and change over time, and the wording of different companies is going to be different. But at the end of the day, it is not something that has been common in New Zealand at all until probably the last 18 to 24 months. Like, it is very new practice here. So just so you can all jump in and comment about how outdated we are or whatever, you're right. But that's why we're talking about the fact in our training, in our beginner training, we do not go anywhere near live tissue cuticle work. We see it as an advanced skill, and our beginner training is for beginners. And that's why someone like Alicia, who does her beginner training with us, goes off and does her advanced living tissue training with a company that does specialized Russian manicure training. That's not what we do.
Yeah. And I think as well, the company I train with are pretty much the only ones who are offering that sort of level of training in New Zealand currently. And it's interesting you say that from the US as well, because I've heard that in a lot of states over there, it is actually illegal. But then in some states, it's fine. So I think different laws in different places as well. But it's interesting because, you have to go at it from a correct perspective as well. Being a beginner, you wouldn't go and do training like that, and they won't teach you that either. You have to go through their first courses before you can level up to that sort of expertise, right?
Do you want to shout out the company?
Yes, yep. So they are the owners of the Nail Story, and their training company is Be Profit. So Be Profit, they are distributors of Stellix around New Zealand as well, and they have headquarters in Takapuna and in the city in Auckland.
Awesome. So the thing is, like, with the concept of niche marketing a salon, and you were talking about that before we started recording, what I'm thinking is, like, I mean, there are creators that pop up in my algorithm all the time that all they put on their reels is cuticle work or line work or things like that. And the creators who are promoting their like living tissue services are definitely more catered towards other nail techs seeing. Like, they're not necessarily, I don't think they're creating that content to get more clients. I think they're creating that content to build their reputation amongst other nail techs, and by proxy they get more clients. But with you talking about, you know, potentially creating a hybrid living tissue service that works for you, that leans perfectly into what we've sort of touched on with specializing in a specific service. If what you were to do is market when you relaunch, rebrand, whatever you choose to do, if your marketing was primarily around safe living tissue services, that obviously you wouldn't call a living tissue service to a client, but like
Probably like a combination manicure.
yeah. But like, that is a niche thing. You're not going to walk into a non-standard salon in a mall and get safe living tissue services. You're also not going to walk into just any boutique salon and get safe living tissue services. So if someone has a lot of cuticle buildup, then that could be your niche. And so what I'm thinking in terms of, instead of marketing a salon like what we do, it is an interesting concept to instead be marketing a specific service. And we talk a lot about how we don't sell services, we sell relationships. And I still 100% stand by that. But this is like an add-on to an overall marketing concept that, like, if you're marketing your entire salon, yes, we want to be seeing your behind the scenes content and your like personality come through, your space come through, what you're capable of come through. We want that whole overall marketing concept. But when I say niching down on a service, I'm more saying that, like, okay, cool. So you offer acrylics and you offer gel polish and you offer soft gel extensions and you use forms and maybe you specialize in art, and like, you know, all of us can do all of these things. It doesn't mean we do. Like, I have dip on my price list in case people want to book it, but I never ever go like, hey, come and book a dip manicure, because that's not my preference of service to provide. So I'm talking about taking that concept and really narrowing in. So where for someone like you, Alicia, not specifically your situation, like where you're not sure about your hours and stuff, but just putting that aside for a second and just thinking about, like, if you were to narrow down, you could take the concept of specializing in living tissue work and apply that to your marketing in a way that, instead of always showing nail art and then a before and after on a nail biter and then a pedicure and then this, that, and the other, maybe what you are doing is realizing that your avatar starts out as someone with like
a lot of excess dry skin or built up
yeah,
cuticle sort of
a
thing.
problem to solve. And then maybe they become a regular because they've got trust in you and they've seen what you can do and you are able to maintain their hands safely. But maybe what you do to promote the salon isn't a full, like, I can do anything, I'm a great nail tech, even though you are. Maybe it's a lot of before and after cuticle work and a lot of, this is where we were a year ago and this is what they're like now, and this is how I do the cuticle work, and this is why this part of the cuticle work is so effective, and this is how this is safe. And like, just putting a lot of your marketing and social media around niching on that thing, because then you can go back to a SMART goal and reverse engineering and going, okay, forget that I can do acrylics, forget that I can do all those things. I'm going to aim to promote, say, for example, your primary service becomes a gel manicure with advanced cuticle work. Cool. Let's work on the price of that service and reverse engineer that service and niche down the marketing to get that thing signed up for.
Yeah. No, I think that's awesome. And I think as well, marketing something like this is a safe and hygienic space where you are getting the best care possible, right? When getting that close to living tissue, you need to make sure that tools are not only sanitized and disinfected, but also sterilized. And so making sure that clients are aware of that and aware of your practices, I think, is a great way to market that sort of thing too.
And we talk about like the competition free zone existing because like in things like Salon Success and stuff like that, our business and marketing course, we talk about how competition doesn't exist if you differentiate instead of compete. Like, I have said for years that any one of you could open up next door to me and we would both be fine as long as we focused on promoting what we were individually good at, because like people are going to be good at different things. It doesn't matter where you are in the industry. Someone who is brand new and just qualified yesterday could open up next to me and we will still both be fine because they are going to have a different personality, a different vibe in the salon, different things that they enjoy, different things they specialize in. So like, it's not even that someone is more experienced or anything like that. Everyone can still survive. So like, I think as well, niching down on your marketing is just another way of differentiating and being like, okay, cool. Like, this is what I do. And therefore, I'm not competing with anyone else because this is what I specialize in.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I mean, I'm in West Auckland and there are salons like 2 minutes from mine and they're everywhere. Like there's so many private nail technicians in the area who kind of have a similar vibe. And guess what? We're all doing okay because, you know, that salon specializes in sculpted acrylic and I specialize in structured manicures. You know, everyone else is specializing in what they're good at and what they want to provide. And I think that sets everyone apart anyway. And then you're going to attract your avatar with that.
I'm in a town with a population of 1,500 people, and from my salon door, I can see 4 other nail techs. So it's not even being in the city, like. But we're all fine, and all our bills are paid.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a big thing to remember when you're starting out in the industry because I hear that a lot, you know, oh my gosh, but there's where I live, there's 10 other people around, you know, I'm not going to get any clients. And it's like, well, find your niche, you know, you're going to find people who match the vibe that you put out there, I think, too.
You know what's actually extra funny about that, which might backfire for some people, but how you're right, a lot of people are like, is there even demand? There's like, I know of 10 nail techs in my town. For every person that says that, there's also someone like in a potential client in a community group or whatever. Like Hannah posted someone in the same area as her and Mikal the other day that had been like, hey, I'm a nail tech. And then someone commented on that post and was like, oh, we need someone like you in this town. And Mikal and Hannah are like, we're right here. But the thing is, so, and I've had people come to me in the town I live in now who are on holiday from Auckland, where I used to live, and they'll be like, oh, I wish I had someone like you near where I live. And I'll be like, oh, where do you live? And on multiple occasions, they live within 10 minutes of where I was for the last 10 years before I moved here. And they were there. I was there. They were there. And I'm like, okay, cool. So you've just traveled 2 hours to see me, 2.5 hours to see me, not specifically to see me, but to come on holiday. And here I am. But like, they're literally saying like, I wish you'd been around when like before. And I'm like, I literally was. I was genuinely just a few minutes away from you for a number of years and you just didn't know. But the thing is, they didn't know I was there and I was still fully booked and my bills were still paid. So like, yeah, for every person that says the market is saturated, just imagine how many people are also there that you don't know about. Because if you can see 5, it's like how they say there's a spider within 2 meters of you at all times or whatever. If you can see 5 nail techs, there's probably 15 and they're all in their bedrooms.
I think sometimes also people don't know what they want or need. So like if you market a specific service, you can tell them what they actually need. Because like a lot of the people that come to me, they don't know like that there's all these different services. They just have like, okay, I get my nails done, but they don't know that there's like dip or gel or acrylics. They just know nails and that's it. So like as a nail tech, I can then tell them like all their different options.
Yeah, have the skills, right? And we had a thing last night with Mikkel, so she was doing a lesson on applying tips and doing her acrylic extensions, and we had a fingernail that we couldn't get a tip on. And it's a perfect example of you may not end up offering a service, but having the knowledge of how to do a service comes in handy. So Mikkel couldn't get a tip on this finger, it had been damaged. Whatever, it's irrelevant, but in the end, she had the skills to then put a form on and do that extension. So same thing, right? If you don't want to offer dip, but someone comes in and dip is best suited for them, you've got the skill, right? So it's the same. It all ties back into just having the knowledge to then tell your client, Mikkel, actually, you don't want acrylics just because Barbara down the road has acrylics. That's not going to be best for you. This is going to be best for you. And this is what I actually specialize in. So yeah, you can educate your clients on the way, and you can also do that through your socials, right?
Yeah, in your marketing, be like, you need this.
Yeah, tell them what their problem is, and
Yeah,
then you're going to solve it.
And for every single nail tech who's out there thinking, I know there's so many of you, if you're the person that's listening to this right now and being like, yeah, but I need a lot of clients. So if I'm just starting out, or it's quiet, or I've just moved town, or I'm just rebranding, or I've just been away for 2 months and I'm just starting back again, whatever. If you are listening right now and you're like, yeah, but if I only promote living tissue specialist, like cuticle manicure, whatever, if I only promote that one thing, then what about all the people that want dip, acrylics, tips, forms, blah, blah, blah? They won't come to me. Yes, they will. And also, if you promote every single thing you do, you are diluting your marketing to the point that the person who does want the living tissue, like specialized, safe service doesn't know that you offer it because you're only mentioning it 1 in every 10 posts. But your posts are only being seen by, like, say, 5% of your followers. So say, for example, you have 5% engagement. Maybe you have way better, maybe you have worse, whatever. Let's say you have 5% engagement. That means that every time you post on social media, 5% of your followers see it. That means 1 in 20 people see it. By proxy, that means that for one person to see one of your posts, you need to have posted 20 times. That's not quite accurate because people that engage regularly are going to see your content more often than people that don't engage regularly. But for argument's sake, let's say that for someone to see your content, you need to have posted 20 times. Well, if those 20 posts were about 20 different things you can do, what are the chances the right person is going to see the right post? Versus if all 20 or even if 15 or even if 10 of those posts were about the thing you specialize in, the chances of the person seeing the right thing are so much higher just because you specialized in niche down. Penny from the future back again to quickly interrupt and remind you to sign up for the Salon Success Accelerator, an 8-week course that helps you unleash your salon's full potential. Find out more at monaco.ac.nz/course/accelerator.
Yeah. So say you offer structured buy-ab, but then you also want to do the living tissue thing. Would you do each service for a chunk of time and then do the next service for a chunk of time after that?
Do you mean like promote it for like a month and then promote the next thing next month?
Or would you interchange them as you go?
I think if I had something that was as niche as, say, the advanced cuticle work we've been talking about with Alicia, I would be like, fuck structured biab. People will work it out. Like, I would focus on promoting the thing that I do that very few other people do. And then, like, in the post, you're going to be talking about the cuticle work or like showing a before and after. But, like, in your little bullet point list at the bottom or in a PS or whatever, you can be like, PS, client chose a structured biab manicure with the color, whatever it's called. So that people still go, well, every time I like it, when I see what it is, it was structured by a manicure. So that must be what I want. So if it was something super niche like that, that's what I would do. If it was more of a case of debating structured biab versus gel manicures that are a bit more closely related, I would probably pick the thing that the least other people around do. Like, I'm going to misquote this, but I know Hannah's looked up and like she was the only person at one point in her area that was doing soft gel extensions. So even though it wasn't like her favorite service, or maybe it wasn't, but like even though it wasn't her favorite or most popular service, it was the one thing she offered that no one else did. So that would be what I promoted. If I was in a situation where I really couldn't decide between two, then I guess there's so many ways you could do it, because at the end of the day, this is all just a fun concept and you're going to do what works for you. But you could do a service of the month, and for that month, that's all you promote. And maybe you only offer 3 things, so in 3 months' time, the service of the month repeats. But so maybe you have a service of the month, and that's a thing that you reference in like lots of your posts. For all of November, you're going to say service of the month is builder in a bottle, and maybe because it's the service of the month, everyone who books it goes in the draw for a prize, or like maybe there's some extra perk that goes with getting the service of the month. But you could do service of the month. You could also, depending on your avatar or what you enjoy doing, you could just experiment with niche marketing for a period of 3 months and then be like, actually, nah, I'm going to go back to doing it the other way, because that's the beauty of it. Yeah. So that wasn't a helpful answer, Mel. The answer is do whatever the fuck you want.
I mean, fair. No, I just wondered, because, when we say niche down, it doesn't mean that I'm going to focus on structured biab for my marketing, that you sell all your other products and never offer those other services. So then I just wondered if it was like a rotational thing that you would promote different things, but we really want to focus on one.
Yeah, I think it depends on your avatar, like we say for so many things. If it was a super high concept idea, like what we've been talking about hypothetically with Alicia, it would go back to what the avatar wanted. So we always say like, well, it depends what your avatar would want. And I know Mikel's sick of me asking that, because I swear half her questions, I'm like, well, what would the avatar want? But I think it goes back to them is like, if in a super high concept situation like the hypothetical Alicia scenario, her avatar is someone with cuticle buildup and who wants like a ongoing maintenance service, who has the disposable income to allocate to fixing this problem that they've had for years. Because if they've got that much buildup that they're so drawn to what we're talking about with Alicia's cuticle work, this is not a new problem. They've had this issue for years. They have finally prioritized it, and they have the budget to maintain it. They're going to seek out someone who's not going to do a hack job, who is going to look after them carefully. And then therefore, for that specific avatar in Alicia's hypothetical salon, I would never alternate between other services, because that avatar is wanting that niche. Whereas like in, say, for example, well, I want to use yours, Mikel, because you're new and it's more helpful, but I know Mel's concept from when she lived near me way better. So like with your salon when you lived near me, Mel, like you were doing a lot of like structured gel, but really your niche was nail art. and your avatar is like this cool, like edgy, like fun, little bit of a rebel, little bit of a bogan, like fun person, they're not going, that specific person is more important to the concept of what your salon was than a niche service. So I'd still niche down on only promoting, like, say, for example, nail art, or yeah, could be structured by it, but I wouldn't be as focused on my marketing plan being around the service. Your previous salon concept was so much more about vibe. It was a specific type of person who wanted a specific vibe with the plants and the humor and the nail art and the fun. So in that scenario, yeah, okay, maybe you niche down and focus more on biab than gel polish or pedicures. But I think for that specific salon, vibe is the niche.
Okay, that makes it a bit clearer. So yeah, like Alicia's avatar doesn't give a crap what they're getting after the thing that they actually wanted, which is the cuticle work, right? And then my old avatar didn't really give a crap what they had on their nails as long as they came and had fun and had a good time. So yeah, I think, like you said, focus on what your avatar actually cares about and what they want.
Yeah. Like, where in that scale would your avatar fit me, Cal?
So I'm thinking mine is like more similar to Mel, different vibe. But I think the big thing that I hear from them when they sit across the desk from me is that I'm like very gentle with their hands compared to like other places that they've been with. And it's just like sparked this idea in my head that like maybe that's like something that I could niche down on, like the being gentle and like a lot of my clients get natural looking manicures with like minimal nail art. So it's like about creating this, I don't know if it's a vibe of like gentleness.
It's almost like a come in and have a safe, relaxing, um, and calm, gentle experience with me rather than a rushed service that you would get going somewhere like a mall.
Yeah, you could definitely niche on it, I reckon. And, it's one-on-one. It's not like super loud and there's no gossiping and no like loud people laughing in the corner or,
Yeah.
be a quiet, relaxing, gentle thing with the massage or whatever. You could definitely promote.
Gentle definitely fits my concept of like you and your salon too. Like, you're quite softly spoken. You speak in quite a slow, not in a bad way, like a slow, well thought out manner. Like you think before you speak kind of thing. The color palette of your salon space is, I would put under a gentle umbrella, like it's very natural, like kind of color tones. Gentle kind of fits as well with just like your chickens and your animals and like a slow pace, semi-rural life, like all of that fits under the umbrella of gentle. I still think that you can niche down on a service within that, but I just think what it would be is like if your concept is gentle, you're never gonna promote a Russian manicure. Like, even if you offered it, it would be an advanced cuticle service that you could offer as an add-on after they book in, and then you say, hey, I noticed that this could be something you would benefit from. But the idea of advanced cuticle prep might scare off an avatar whose number one priority is gentle, or the umbrella vibe of gentleness. It makes me think of people that have a word of the year, people that are like, my word for this year is going to be abundant, or like whatever, like you've got a word of the salon. Yeah, like I just would never include cuticle prep in my marketing. So maybe what you would include is like maybe your niche service would be structured by or just a gel manicure, or like within those natural nail services, the thing that you most enjoy doing. But the way that you market it is less about before and afters and more about the process of how you get to the end result.
Yeah, the experience, right? I think gentle is the word, but I don't know, it's not quite the word. I don't know if it's like soothing or like tender, maybe. I don't know, but definitely along those lines.
Yeah, tender, like I was going to say soft, and soft is also not the right word.
But it's like finding that, you could market it as like, are you that, everyone's going on about these, I guess it's a trend, right? Soft girl nails and that sort of thing. You're marketing to that. Do you want these Pinterest perfect soft girl nails while getting that experience at the same time? Come to me and we'll chill out. I'll take care of you. And it's going to be a relaxing process. It's not going to be anything crazy. It's one-on-one. You have my full attention and you are my main priority. Your comfort is my main priority. Like, I don't know if comfort's the right word either, but something along those lines.
It's the sort of thing where, as a marketing concept, you can say the word of the salon is gentle. And we, all four of us, have exhibited that we know exactly what we mean by the word gentle. But the word gentle doesn't necessarily come up in the marketing ever. The same way that when we're doing our marketing targeted at an avatar, we're never saying like, hey, Caitlin, come and book in for a course. We're just talking to the avatar. So then if the word of the salon is gentle, it's just that everything you do is with an overriding, like, you soften the lighting, you like zhuzh the throw blanket, like everything you do is with an overriding feeling of gentle, which kind of fits in with the other, like even with Mel's stuff, like being more about a vibe, like everything fits within the vibe.
Yeah. My vibe. Yeah, because of that, I felt like I didn't always have to be like super together because people kind of expected it, like even now on the podcast, I have not done my hair today, like, whatever. And same thing, Mikhail, you wouldn't want to, like, I would never promote that my salon is like gentle and calm and tender because that just ain't me and that ain't my environment. My environment's fucking chaos. And same for you, like, if you promoted like chaos and bad language and all that stuff, and then I came and sat with Mikhail, I would be like afraid to talk because I'm gonna like swear by accident or something. Like, you know who you are and who you're trying to attract. So yeah, the whole tender vibe definitely fits. And
Yesterday I had a client and she came in with like her 5-year-old little boy and he just sat in the corner on a rug reading books. And like he could do that because it was like a nice quiet space. Like she wouldn't be able to do that going to like any other salon where it's like all chaotic, lots of people around.
Into everything, and but that's a vibe that her son obviously needs too, to be able to just relax and sit and do his thing.
Yeah.
With some kids, gosh, they're like into everything and running out and opening doors and
And I think as well, okay, not end because this is a tangent, but like just listening to what you guys were saying, what I was thinking is like this whole conversation proves the benefit of niche marketing, because if I think about like the three salons we've just described, the chaos, fun, art, humor vibe of Mel's, and then the gentle, soft chickens in the background, muted colors, reading in the corner on a rug of Mikal, and then the highly efficient, niched, specialty cuticle work, health conscious side of Alicia's. They are so different, but also not different because we've gone, oh, well, one's a fun vibe, one's a serious vibe, or because we've gone, one is gel polish, one is builder in a bottle. Like, the ways that your three semi-hypothetical, semi-real salons are different. Mel's niche is vibe, and Mikal's niche is semi-vibe, but also not. Like, it's experience, and Alicia's niche is service specific. So you've got a vibe, experience, and service. So all of the marketing concepts are going to apply to each of your salons differently, but also there's just no overlap. And each person listening to this episode is going to be like, well, I would want to book with Mel. I would want to book with Alicia. I would want to book with Mikal. And on a personal level, if we if we have like people that have been listening for a while, or they follow you guys on social, or like me knowing all of you, I can go, well, I would want to support all three of you. But realistically, I know that I would feel the most comfortable in the scenarios we've described today in Mel's hypothetical salon, because that's where my vibe fits and where my priorities for my hypothetical nail appointment would fit. But like, you could stop 100 people on the street and they would all pick different people because everyone has a different priority. And for me, the quote unquote chaos vibe works for me because I am chaos vibe. Like, that feels like a comfort zone to me. I don't have overgrown cuticles. I'm afraid of Russian manicures. I'm so squeamish at the best of times, even though yours wouldn't be to that extreme. But like, yeah, I don't know.
Hopefully not.
If I were someone else's spaghetti, if I booked in with Alicia because someone recommended, she's going to do a great job and she's going to be fun to talk to and it's going to be great. If I end up booking with Mikal because she was recommended by a friend and it's going to be cute and slow and she's going to do a lovely job, at no point am I going to be disappointed by those appointments. It's just that I'm not the drawing pin, I'm the spaghetti. Whereas I'm more Mel's drawing pin. So Mel's marketing is targeting me, but I could end up anywhere and be happy.
It can change though, right? Like sometimes I feel like I would love to go somewhere like Mikal and just have someone like look after me and tell me everything's gonna be fine. You know?
That's actually such a good point, because for like a treat, like if I got a birthday voucher, I want the voucher for Mikal's salon. If I wanted a pedicure, I'd be more likely to go towards Alicia's, even though we've not talked about pedicures as a concept at all. But like, if any of the three of you, if all three of you offered a pedicure, for a pedicure, I'd choose Alicia. For a birthday treat, I'd choose Mikal. And for a regular service, I'd choose Mel.
Like a Friday night after a long week at work, you want to come and be like, fuck those assholes. I hate them. And if you went to like Mikal in the soft, gentle environment, you would be like, all I want to do is like scream and tell Mikal how much of a dickhead they all are.
You know what's so funny? Okay, wait. You know how people will say like the number 3 is red or like stuff like that? Okay. So Mel is Friday 5 p.m. Mikal is Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. and Alicia is Saturday at 11 a.m. And I can't explain why, except that the number 3 is red.
I get it though. It makes sense.
Yeah. And if you come to me Friday at 5 p.m., you better have some drinks for us.
Yeah, I was going to say
that.
Yeah, because I'm over the week too, girl.
Okay, so wrapping up this episode, roundtable, what is the one thing from all the things we discussed, whether relevant to the topic or a tangent, that you would either go away and apply or like apply to your hypothetical salon? Like, what's the number one thing that you'd be like, yes, I'm taking that thing and running with it?
Definitely the SMART goal. I love the idea of breaking down everything and being able to get a little bit more specific with how I want to plan out how I'm going to achieve everything.
I need to reverse engineer and like actually figure out how many, like what my minimum number of clients is that I need, and then really target a specific service. I think like a natural nail service that's going to get that number in.
Very good. Mine is, I say it all the time, I think it just reminds us that you can just be yourself and you'll attract who you want to attract. Like, all 4 of us could be literally right next to each other on the same street, and we just established that at different times and different days we would pick a different salon. It's all right. Be yourself, people. The right people will come.
And mine's not specific to salon, but the one thing I would want people to take away is that niching down is not a death sentence. Like, no matter the way that you niche down, because we've sort of by accident ended up discussing that there are actually so many different ways you can niche down, but people are so afraid to do it because they think they're alienating everyone who isn't the niche, and it's just not true. You niche down, you get your perfect salon, and you get the spaghetti. So with that done and dusted, before you disappear, like our page or follow the podcast so that you don't miss the next episode. Mel, I'm going to throw to you. We will be back next week. What are we covering?
We are talking about theory, Mikhail's favorite. Bum, bum, bum.
It is.
What is and all that sort of stuff that confuses Mel. We're diving into this episode on nail disorders and stuff like that, pretty much because it's funner with other people, and it can be a lot to kind of just absorb through eyeballs. So yeah, we kind of dive in a bit more and have a convo and discuss our experiences, and yeah, just make it funner because theory sucks.
Theory does suck, and it's way nicer to just chat about it and learn accidentally almost. All right, until then, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube by searching Monaco Nail Academy, or follow our salons. Mine is Hard Like a NZ.
Mine is Jungle Nails NZ.
Mine is Adorn Nail Boutique.
And mine is Straight Up Nails NZ.
Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.